Real girl. What's 2019 gone. Shut the fuck up, Super. I was in the midst of fixing it. I'm like, yeah, Super would be the asshole to make a dumbass fucking joke right then. Okay, so I am making a camera stand. Right? Hang on one second. Okay, so I'm making a camera stand, like the pull thing I was telling you about, Super. Hang on. Uh, okay, so I made this yesterday, and you could tell it's kind of bent because I was messing with it. But it has very big teeth on it, which I was like, okay, big teeth, not too bad. And I made this cap. Well, the issue with this cap is I never got it to sit right on the teeth, and because I didn't know how to carve it in there the best way. And so after I finished printing that, I start like working on a different print of like a different cap, and then I realized I think I threw it away. I don't know where I put it. If I find it, I'll show you. But I didn't get the teeth right on the print. So no matter what I did, I'm gonna find it. Hang on. Okay. So I lost it. I don't know where I put it. So I printed like the pull part of the camera stand to get it up to 18 inches. But it wouldn't go in. So this is what is in front of you now, except for the clamp part. Which is, do you see my mouse? Okay. This is the clamp part of what this spool is supposed to go into. I know this isn't the right length, and that's fine. We're not worried about that. So this is it. But you notice how I dropped it. um, it goes in and out super easy. Like you saw how quick that was of just in and out. And it doesn't matter whichever way it goes in. So that's what we're going for, is we are able to in and out it that fast, basically. Now I want it so where every connection that's going through this um thing, everything can be replaceable without having to replace every fucking thing. Because if anything breaks, like let's say the clamp breaks, I don't need to replace this, and the shit end of it, right? So I'm making everything kind of modular to, I guess, like, is that the word you would use? And so for example, um on this, right? Even this is what I got like printed from someone else's design. The teeth do not sit correctly inside of it. So I think it's just whoever made the teeth made them wrong, right? So here's the teeth. This back end aspect does not come off. It is welded on there. So if this breaks anywhere, like snaps at the end where all of these are missing or anything like that, or the teeth gets worn down, you have to replace all of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice, like I have the model for this, but I'm going to slice it where it's just the cap, put a hole in it, and basically make it look like this. Now I could turn this into this, but I don't know how to do that easily. So we're going to do off of the things I know how to do, which is slicing and putting holes in things that shouldn't probably have holes in it. So that is the goal for this stream, is to get the print ready. I'm going to run it all of this afternoon for the tests. So the test where I'm going to just slice everything down to like certain pieces. Like this, I'm probably going to have to print this once. This thing right here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a hole on rotate this side right here. There's going to be a hole which is going to have this spooling size. I also wrote down on Visual Studio Code we are using a 28 thread with a 28.284 millimeter hole for everything. I took notes of what we're doing. So I'm trying to make this modular to some degree. And then, so like, let's say this spool, I'm calling it a spool. I know it's like a screw or a bolt or whatever. This screw, I'm going to make it so where it's about this. I think when I made this right here, it's about this size. Twitch ad? How do you have Twitch ads? You should subscribe. Twitch.tv/Kino Dimitris. Give me all your fucking money, bitch. Get your mom's credit card. Give me your mom's credit card number. So we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna go to the sketch. Oh, go to bodies. Delete the body. I want to make this rounded. Hang on, L. Okay, I can't. Finish sketch. I can't round these now, I don't think. Oh, fillet. Here. To there. Oh, wait. Here. Fillet. There. How does fillet work? Oh, there we go. That or a rolling ball. I guess setback would be better, huh? To make all of the edges kind of rounded on this. Right? Do you think making all the edges rounded would be better? I think it would be better just overall because you're not getting sharp corners, so you're not gonna mess your hand up. I'd probably make this. Could I make it at least 4? I'd make it 4. I think that's a good amount to make it 4 all the way around, just so there's not sharp corners that you can cut your hand on. Because there are some 3D prints that you could really fuck yourself up on. Okay. So, like, let's say this face, if I wanted to extrude it further, I can. So I wanted this face to be a little bit wider, about... Okay, so right now it's 15. 15. I want wherever this screw can go into, it equals half of every hole. Right? So if we take this cap and put it... is there a way to, like, lay things? Like, is there a way to just stick this cap onto this face? Line. Oh, I did it. You see that, super? Okay, so if we stick this where... Okay, so this is generally how deep it'll get into this hole of your mom, right? Oh, why? Okay. So I want to... How long have you been 3D printing? A year in December. Okay, that's fine. I want to move this. Okay, that's close enough. Yeah, that looks perfect, basically. It might be a little bit off, but it's good enough. Okay. I don't think there's, like, an easy way to extend uh right there, is there? Catcher position. Because if I pull this... Yeah, it usually prints the thread really well. Okay, hang on. So I need to extend this about... How wide? 10. Okay, so cap is 10 inches. Width of top support. So I need this about an extra 10 inches on the back. I'm gonna give it a little bit more room. So, because we don't want both of these to be flush, because you're gonna get really bad threading. So I'm gonna give it at least 1 more millimeter. So this needs to be 20. So 2 of these and then more length. So how long is this already? So the length of it right now. Oh, I clicked it. Hang on. How long is it right now? Hang on. Okay, I just need the whole thing. Okay, whole thing needs to just fucking move. There you go. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, how long is it right now? The screw is 35 millimeters screw. And let's put it back. So I need to make it where this cap can sit. Let's say this face, the line components. Okay, no. Let's move this forward. Okay, let's move this forward. Okay, let's move this forward. Okay. Select the whole component. Move it forward. Okay, let's move this component and move it. Okay, let's take this component and move it forward. Great. Cool. And then we want to take the back of that face, select the whole thing, deselect back of the face, this face, right click, align component, right click, align. Align. There we go. Okay. So from where the threads are ending now, we need to pull this back where it hits the cap plus a millimeter. Millimeter! I think that's flush, isn't it? Let's do this. That's flush. So 21, 22. So we need to add 22, which would be 57 millimeter. Okay. So now we know how long this screw needs to be, which is 57 millimeter. So we need to add 22 millimeters to its current length. Okay. So pull it, move. I need to extrude, capture position, extrude this face. 22. Okay. And then what we're going to do is do thread. Look the outside. Model. Okay, well, we're just gonna remake the fucking screw. Because it's fucked up from me doing the back ass end of it anyway. So what we're gonna do is go to threads. We're gonna go to the sketch. Where's the sketch at? Right here? Okay, I'm gonna move this sketch. Okay, the sketch. I'm gonna extrude it out to 57. Cool. And then we're gonna move it forward. Okay, we're gonna take it, bodies, and move it forward. Which that looks about the same length, maybe a little bit less. Yeah, that's the exact same length, right, Super? Yeah, same length. Okay, take the second body, the first body, delete it. Delete that. Okay, now we got this. So this is our body. Right. So I want to rethread that. No, no. I want to rethread it to 28, which it is. So there we go. That is our 3 rethreaded cap for the specific length we're going to be using for all of this. So if we put it together, let's take the clamp cup, move it forward to how it's going to sit. Well, actually, here, I'll make it easier. Oh, wait, why? Okay, what we could do is grab the inside face, grab this, and then align, and that's how that's going to sit. Like so. And then I could take... Actually, here, let's do this. This will be a lot easier. That... No, stop. That... That align. And then we can grab the inside of that, grab the inside of this, align. No. Move this to that, align. There we go. Okay, see, this is why we check, right? This is why we check. Because it seems like the length is not long enough. See, this is why we check, right? So we know that this is 57 and we added 1. You know what I did not add? I didn't add an extra 10, which was supposed to be the cap. So because we know that, we know this needs to be 67. And that's why we check. And so I just need to add an extra 10. Like that. And then I can add the thread back. And then we can select everything. So this is why we check, because I wanted to make sure the length was correct. And the length was not correct, right? Align. And so now, if I duplicate the cap, I don't know if I duplicated it. Fuck, okay, hang on. Why? I want to duplicate the cap. Let's move the cap. What's 360 the cap? Like so. And then let's grab the ass of the cat, put it there, and then click align. The ass. Oh, no. This cat. This. Align. Oh, it's moving the this spool. We gotta select them the other way. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what we're going for. I want a little bit of room here so it doesn't scratch it up. That's fine. So I'll take a little bit of room. I just spilled that Modelo on my desk by the dumbest way possible. I put the straw, which now just fell on the inside of it, in there, and it aerated the beer, and it overflew and fucking spilled out. So, Super, what I can do you think this would be a good idea? Is because I said I didn't want to have to replace the individual parts if I don't have to. I can make both of these caps, like this cap, and you just have to print two of them. Or do you think I should just still leave the clamp cap like that? Because I want that clamp clap, the the cap. I want to make the cap not so bulky so it doesn't have to like have so much room to grab onto. Because you're supposed to technically have it flatter, but 10 millimeter is about that thick. So that cap is about that thick. That spool is about that wide, right? So it's about this length now. We're getting a lot of length and not a huge amount. The most stable individual parts is better for repairability. What do you mean individual parts? Like no, I mean like they're not going to be all one piece. What I'm saying is this cap. So like let's say this is what you're looking at right now is this. Hang on. What you're looking at on my screen right now is this. So the clamp, let's say, is like this, and it's like this, and then you have the screw going through and another clamp, kind of like that, right? You get what I'm saying? These two clamps, I can leave them the same exact way, or I could design the bottom one differently so you have like some hand grip, because turning this is a lot harder than turning this because this has bite to it. But I don't want to make them both have bite because this doesn't really need it. This is supposed to just lay flush. Because technically you want to make this have like, I don't know, hand grip. This doesn't really need hand grip because once it's screwed on, it's supposed to be able to come on and off easily because it's not taking you needing to turn it. Because like once this is in there, right, you want to be able to thread it through. But as you hit the table, you need to be able to tighten it down. So like for example, if I take this and I start turning it this way, at some point your hand's not going to be able to turn it because it doesn't have grip. So like this, see? Like I'm able to turn it to a certain, bro, I don't know, bro, you're giving me too much power. Do you think the part that we're looking at that I have highlighted needs to have grip? Because I don't think so. But if I make it where that one part doesn't have grip, that's just another part you have to print, but it's going to save on filament. Like this is going to be a high filament thing, so even saving like let's say 8 to 10 grams in the long run is going to be a lot better. And I think like cutting down 10 grams of just this round part is going to be a lot better. How do you add like create rib web emboss? Extrude, sweep, revolve, loft, rib, meow. I don't think it makes it that much worse. The red, but pattern. Hang on. So I'm gonna take this cap, and I want to hang on. So we're gonna take this clamp cup, move it out, and then we're gonna lay it flat. So no. Okay. Yeah, it's not really gonna save on filament, but it's just gonna make it easier for people who don't have like good hand grip to put it on. Overall, I would say. But that's the only thing I can think of making that specific piece have it. But in reality, if your hand grip is so fucking bad. Okay, so I copied these. I didn't dereference them. So I'm gonna take this. I want to duplicate it. And on my YouTube video stuff. Um, how to duplicate. Okay. Okay. Components in Fusion 360 with dereferencing them. There we go. Yeah, okay, super. If you can't fucking open a plastic water bottle, you're sitting here telling me to not add like even like the smallest amount of threading onto the fucking thing. So I need to extrude. No. Okay, I need to whiten and girth it up. Let's make it a little bit bigger. So, because mind you, right now it's about that big. So I just made it a little bit wider. So it's closer to, I think, this right now. Which I think with the ribbing and whatnot, we probably want it a little bit bigger. So let's make it, I'd say like 4 millimeters bigger, like that. Then we want to do a pattern. Where did my thing go? Pattern. No. How to make a grip. Yeah. Okay, it's called a grooved knob. Okay, I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. Right down. Bruh. Okay. Didn't work. Watching a quick YouTube video about it didn't really work. Okay, I want to do it on the other side. Thinking about it. We're not trying to grip where we're fucking screwing it on. There we go. Eh, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Okay, do you think like this would be better, or do you know like how screwdrivers they have the you know how like screwdrivers they have like that like X pattern going through it? I think the X pattern would be better because this seems like it's way too heavy duty for something like this. I think like the curled might be a little bit better. What is this knob? Okay, hang on. I wanna test something. How fast can I learn something? An actual screw would be nicer. What do you mean an actual screw? Super, I don't know what you're talking about. 48, 173. Knob. That's gonna hurt, huh? That should be fine, right? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He had 8. So we're just gonna steal the amount he did. 8. And then we'll round them. Like here, I'm gonna round that out. So it's a little bit less fucky. Circular pattern. Finish sketch. Oh, wait, no. Let's go back. Hang on. Let's trim these on. Finish sketch. And then we want to extrude that face up top. Where are we? Oh, uh, we're over there. So I don't actually know how tall the cap is. 10 millimeters. Cap is 10 millimeters, which is right here. I would have known. Look at me being a dumbass. Okay, queso. I want to extrude you up 10 millimeter. There we go. And then that's a body now. So I want to move the body up. So it's intersecting that at the same level to some degree. Okay, there we go. So that doesn't look too bad, right, Super? Do you think? How do you feel? 9 out of 10. Would you use that if it was rounded? Because, like, you see these sharp corners, you gotta tear up your fucking hand on that. So this is where we take this, the fillet, and go through all of the faces. No, not that. This. Not that. Then we revolve around. No. Uh, no. Right. Okay. Dude, sometimes the sensitivity on the fucking thing, like there, why? The sensitivity freaks out sometimes. Top. Okay, I just want to orbit, zoom, eh, eh, eh. Okay, I think I selected all the faces, and then we want to do, let's say, 4. 4 is too much. 1. That might be good. Maybe 2. 2's too much. Like, how about 0.5? 7.5. Okay, radius time, chord length. Ooh, and then what about setback versus rolling? I don't think it changes, so let's do okay. That doesn't look too bad, right? Because this is very sharp, all things considered. Hang on, 7. That is very sharp, all things considered, I would say. So this is more rounded, which does increase print time slightly. However, I think the difference isn't too bad. And then I have to drill a hole in this. So let's go to top. Yeah, it's worth it. So now I got to drill a hole in it. I need to make a hole that is screw width, radius, diameter. Pull here in the center. We need the width to be that much. That's a huge fucking hole. And we need the depth 10. No. 5? Fuck, hang on. This gap. Let's top it. How wide is this gap? Clamp code. Move. Okay, it seems like the hole goes about 4 millimeters deep. Okay, I need this center. Hey, Degoose, how are you doing? Hope your night's good. Super, does that hole look the same? Yeah, the same. Oh, hang on, let me click that. That's the spiral, isn't it? Yeah, that's the spiral. That's what's fucking me is I'm seeing that spiral, but not that outside edge. Why am I making the camera stand? Because I need to put a camera here that is not this camera. And because this camera sucks ass. And I have a fancy high HDR camera. And the thing that I wanted to buy costs about 40 bucks. And 3D printing it costs $3. Does Twitch even support high definition? Doesn't matter. Irrelevant. No, it's like a high definition camera, super. I don't think these holes are the same size. Hang on. It has to be. Because this is the width. Hang on. I do want to add a countersink to these holes. What the fuck? No. That angle, like this, is taking a lot of that eating room. Nope. I guess we could make it a little bit thicker. Did you hear Mario got cucked again? What do you mean? Beach is just a friend. They change the story every time, dude. He got cucked by Luigi? How do you get cucked by Luigi? Who likes Luigi? Peach and Daisy? So you're telling me his brother stole both his bitches? Yes, what a fucking cuck. No, fuck. I don't know what that means, super. I called her a cuck. See, I'm able to call who's a cuck, right? Without even fucking remembering them, bro. Actually, I want to go to the back. I want to punch a hole. There. Perfect. Mm. Can't get cucked if you don't fuck bitches. Keep that in mind, brothers. Don't let a bitch cuck you. Can you post a photo in here? No? Okay. Okay. I want a lot of the weight actually to be here, but I can't put the weight there. Because the more weight we put here, the more this front end is going to bend down. Well, actually, okay. When this is screwed in and the table is here and the screw is pushing up on the table and clamping it on, there's going to be a lot of weight going into... Okay, table. So here's the table, screwed in. A lot of the weight is going to be going here already. So the more this is up front, like here, the less the weight. I'm gonna want it centered, yeah. We're gonna want it centered, probably, right? So the depth of this, we're also doing 5. Well, let's do 6, just in case. And then we're screwing that. Okay. Okay. So let's go over what we made to make sure we're all on the same page. This is our screw length. The total length of this screw is 67. Now we should check that. I'm gonna move it there to do this. Thread. Rotate. Grab the front face. So this should be 67. Okay, it is 67. So I will probably have to print out, because if we do like a right view, right? And then go down. Okay, well, I gotta 360 that. Body. Body, yaddy, yaddy, yaddy. I need to go. Bruh. 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 Okay, the bottoms are matched up. Actually, we went the tops. Yeah, we went the tops. Okay. The hole in this one needs to be the hole on that one. So, how deep do you think that hole is right here? Um, L. Let's just click. Uh, Go back up. So let's select the top, select the bottom. Okay. And the length of that is something I didn't get to see. How long are you? Okay, I didn't get to see it. 6 millimeter. Ow. Oh, you know why? Finish. Undo. 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 Okay, we had to go back. Before I punch the hole. Okay. Hole. Revert position. Put it in the fucking center of that. Okay. I'm putting 5 here. That goes from the bore down, right? So what we can do is if we hit it sideways and then hit component on something else. Okay, hang on. Select the right body. Move left. And then I need you up. Okay. I need to make sure the whole... I need to fucking turn that around. Uh. Okay. How do you get cooked so bad? That's generational cooking. So let's say right now 6 millimeter. And then select this one. Let's just select something else. Hang on. How do you reference? Boyfriend. Ooh. Right. Okay. Holes are 6 inches deep. Haha, supers. Wow. Okay. Does your mom know, like, a huge amount of your friend group just makes "we have sex with your mom" jokes? Or is she, like, blissfully unaware? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Ask your mom. Mom, do you know Kuno? I'm doubtful. Ask her. Mom, Did you know all of my friends have fantasized about fucking you at some point or another? I also don't know how thin my walls are. You have me on speaker? Yes, super. So if I just start screaming slurs, you're gonna get in a lot of trouble. Right. No. Nah, why not? It's not something you should say about your mom. You think she just doesn't give a fuck no more? Like she just given up? She's like, my son, my thing is weird. She's like, ah, fuck it. You'd be weirder for her care. Dude, my mom freaks out if I say a swear. Swear word. No one doesn't give a fuck. Tell your mama to get on. Fucking bark like a dog. Bark, bark. Okay, this is the print so far. We have a 6-inch bore hole at the top of it. I was thinking, okay, we can't comically make this top part super super wide, right? We can't make this super wide because the more bulk we put in here, the more weight we're adding here. 6 inches. Okay, I'm thinking about it. This depth is as how much it's not, it's like 6 millimeters. The depth of that hole is this hole. Mind you, this is what's going through the center of the pole, right? So look at how much goes in there. Do I have a marker? Hang on, I'm gonna get a marker. Okay. So where the purple is how much is left. Oh. All right. So there's only this much that's in there. That seems like it's a shear hazard to me. So I'm gonna need to make that hole deeper. I need to make that hole deeper. Because if not, we're going to get a shear line to lean through that shit. So we had to go so far back because I made everything neat. Okay. Front. Hole. So can we do 10? How far does 10 make that? We have not a lot of meat right there. All right, we don't have a lot of meat right here. So I think we need to extend this out to about here on that line. So let's extrude. Come back. Pull here. I think right here. Because in reality, okay, thinking about it, in reality, we want all of this on all sides to be the same girth. So however thick we make this, we want to make it on all sides. Because we don't want to wait desperate. Like, you see how on this part is very thick, but this isn't? Right? There's no way. Because you can see right here, I added more thickness to this right here. And I'm getting this top part in between those two parts, that's splitting. Because this right here isn't thick enough to combat the pressure on the top part. How wide is this? I need a measuring tape. I don't have a measuring tape. Oh, whip my wiener out. It's for the length of my head. I don't know, dude. Um, Oh wait, I can figure it out. Orca slicer. You know. Ugh. $20 millimeters. That is 20 millimeters. So, how wide is this currently? 18. So this is 20, right? So this sidewall, I have the sidewall on this as there's no way this 4 millimeters on mine. I sliced this. Do I have the backup? Yep, okay. Backups. Works out. Wait, wait a minute. Hold up a minute. Hold up, wait a minute. There we go. No, that's still wrong. I made right here out more, but I guess I don't have that saved somewhere. I made this thicker. Here, I could do math. Okay, per tooth, it's about 10 millimeters per 20 millimeters. I mean, 10 teeth per 20 millimeters. So each tooth is 2 millimeters. I made it 10 millimeters wide. All right. So this is 10 millimeters. This is 20 millimeters. And this top part, I didn't change on there, so I'm going to guess is 8 millimeters. Okay. So let's see if my guesstimation is close. If I'm at least like like within 3 millimeters, I'll be good. Oh, it's control. What? No. Distance. How thick is this plane? Okay, like maybe the corner. Okay, this corner to that corner is 6.5 millimeters. So I got 8 on that edge, which I just realized. Okay, this edge is 6.5 right there. So this is 6.5. Okay, the third tooth is 6.5. 9? Okay, it's still like 9. At the very, it's between 9 and 10 millimeters. So I like to just, let's just say 9 millimeters. All right. We'll go off of like shitty math. So it's 9 millimeters. So right now we're at 18. I think if we can sit there, how wide is this? Is 20. This is 20? So you're telling me this side is wider than both okay, this doesn't need to be 20. We can cut it down by 5. Like let's say 10. Which would be 15. We could probably even cut it down by 10, make it 10, right? Because we're going off of the presumption that this right here is 10. And the issue isn't down here. Like down here where it's 20, this isn't the issue. The issue is right here where this is only 8, which this corner, because it's not rounded, we're getting a lot of shearing force from the which, mind you, the fucking dude put a cap on me too. But I made my own cap. Okay. Okay. So this was more flush, but me lifting it up was pushing pressure up into this plastic thing, which the more this warps up, the more the camera is going to lean back. So we don't need that to warp. So we need right here to not fail, which that it basically needs to be curved, which it is. But the more meat this has, I genuinely think the more meat this has, the more, because we don't want the table, like when you put this on a table, you're not going to get, you're going to get it flush with the back wall. So like let's say this is the table, it's going to get flush on, hang on, this face right here. It's going to get flush on that face. So when you screw in, you know where it's going to start applying pressure from seeing what it's doing with this? Is it's going to start applying pressure on this bend right there. Because you could see where it's failing, right? You could see where it's failing is this is shearing up and it's shearing that line. Because I was thinking if I printed it like this, you're not going to get that shearing. So I think for the specifically this, it needs to be printed this way, where it's not printed sideways. But when you do this, where it's printed this way, hang on. Let me think about it. Let me think about it. So if I'm printing this, what would break first? Hang on. I don't. Okay, I generally think printing it where I printed it like this, standing up. It's going like this. So the strongest part is going to be these long areas where it's unaffected. So this plate and this plate. That corner, that's going to be a lot of pressure. So even if that's curved, like right here, I feel like if I tried my hardest, I could probably snap the shear line that's right there on this curve. But if it's printing like where it's laying down like this and going kind of like front, basically coloring it in like this all the way around. I'm trying to think, why would you? Because I'm talking about when it's clamped to the table. You don't want any of this to warp. You want it just to hold to the table as hard as it can so it's level. And that's the issue, Super, is we're trying to keep this leveled. So I think what I need to do is to make it where it's laying like this when it's printing, like this, and it goes like that up. Because it's going to build all of this stronger, because it's going to be one line going all the way around. So that's what I need to do when printing. So when printing, it has to be laying down like it is. Because I stood it up, which I stood it up like that, which I think that's the issue we're having right now is how I orientated it when I printed it. But with that, I'm trying to think of like how it's going to break. Because where it's going to break, we need to support the most. And so if it's going to break, if it's printed like that, I think it's not going to be this sidewall. This sidewall probably could be really thin. So it definitely doesn't need to be 20. I think we can put it down to 10. Because all of the weight is going to ignore the sidewall. So we're going to put that to 10, like so. So that doesn't need it. This top part, where the table is going to push up on it and the camera's going to push down on it, you're going to get counter shear force, right? I don't think it's shear force, but you're going to get counter force because the camera and everything else is hitting this, which is sitting on the table. The clamp is going to be pushing the table up on it. So as long as the clamp isn't putting more force than the camera is, like the weight of the pull and the camera pointing down, this doesn't need to be a lot either, I don't think. I think this bottom one is where all of the all of the weight of the camera, like on the top, that's going to go into the table, right? That's all going to. I can look at my camera stand. My claim. So on that, the thickest part is this side bit, which doesn't make fucking sense. Other than oh, hang on. I'm getting a brain blast. I'm trying to think, Super. It's hard. Okay, what would be the thing that Okay. I'm trying to think. Hang on, I have an idea. Okay, I have an idea. In a microphone stand where the screw is what? Fresh. Okay. I'm not a huge AI person outside of like some shit that genuinely doesn't matter. But I will ask it to make me something. Ugh. Hang on. Me switching pages is worrisome. Okay, so the AI fucked up. Nutfish. Obviously, it made this angle very bad, right? Um, but what I think I'm gathering is this corner gets a huge amount of pressure, and it's getting a lot of downwards pressure, and then the pressure from this, I guess, is going this way, like on the steel part of it. So I think this corner gets the most um pressure. I was scrolling through Amazon. Okay. I think this is like the exact thing I have, like this one right here. Right? It's pretty fucking close. I just also realized I have mine going the wrong way. Because they have it clamped and facing the other way. Okay, that explains a lot, actually. That explains like a whole lot. No, I'm fine with the way I have it. But you look on here, that top part, right? The thickest part, hang on, the thickest part of this image is its side right here. But you see how it narrows down where this needs less pressure? Right here is super thick, right here. Like the same thing, right here, super thick to thin. Like this is literally just a hole. So I think a lot of the pressure is going down to this part. And all of this is metal, maybe plastic. My brain isn't processing this. What are you talking about, Super? Okay, in reality, like how much pressure do you have to put on this? My desk probably isn't like the best example. I genuinely think it getting thicker as it goes down is causing issues with it wanting to bend up. Because if this was flat, it would lay flat on the table. It's another design flaw of this one. Because you look at all of these, this top part is flat. It doesn't level out. It's very flat. Okay. So what I gathered is this top part does not need to have a lot of meat. However, we need a lot of meat, so whatever is on top of it has a good chunk to grab onto, so we don't have it shearing. I think this is 18, right? Yeah. So that is 18. This side piece should be 10, right? So this should be 10. Yeah. And this bottom piece, I think, is 10 as well. 14-ish? $14. I think right now the way it is. So this top one is what? We have it, we said 18, 20, 18. Okay. That top part is 18. I I genuinely think it might need to be more. Because we said this is 10. So let's say this is 10. This right here is going to fit between my desk and the wall. This being thicker isn't going to be too bad, but it's going to give us a lot more weight down here. So this could be a good that much. So I would say we're at 18. We could probably go up to that. That doesn't seem too bad, does it? 20, which would put it at 23. 23 top clamp. So our thing is 67 inches minus, let's say we'd do a 13-inch bore. Well, we could probably do a 15-inch bore, which is 53. 5, 6, 7, 8, 52 inches left. So if we have a 67 millimeter screw and we make the hole 15 millimeters, the other 52 millimeters has to be in the pole. That is a lot of millimeters. Because I don't. Okay. Maybe we don't need that long of a fucking. Right. We just need something to keep the pole on it. So maybe if we cut it in half, like 67 divided by 2, which would be 33.5, which we could round it down to 30. It would be 15 in the top, 15 in the bottom. I don't think that's too bad. What do you think, Super? Yeah, I don't think that's too bad. So all we got to do is just make a shorter rod and make it 30 millimeters. And we can cut it in half. I think good. Yeah, I think that wouldn't be too bad. Because I think for this length, it's going to be good for the table clamp just because we need the mouth to be really big. But I think in between pieces, it doesn't need to be that large. So we can copy, select, paste, new. So threads, select, rename. Threads, no, screw for clamp. Screw for poles. And we could take it, move it, and then we can, yeah. Okay, so right now it is 67. So we need to cut 37 inches off. So if we push it back another 30. Okay, so this is the screw we need to be using. So this is our screw. So whole screw is 30 millimeters. Whole hole needs to equal 30, 15 millimeters. So something I just realized, you know how we're making this hole 6 millimeters for the depth? It's 5 millimeters plus the bore hole. So this is 6 millimeters, but this is 5. I don't fucking know. We'll figure it out. When I print this shit, it might be wrong. Hole. Revert. I want to get it front facing. I want to put it centered. So we want it the same size. We need the depth, which is this, to be 15 millimeter. Like so. Then I need that to be threaded. Like so. And we'll switch to it. And then I want to see okay, it is 15 millimeters deep. So when we make the pole, we need to make sure the hole of the pole is 15 millimeters deep. Wordle. No. What the fuck? Okay. Hole. Okay, Google. 18 inches to millimeters. Okay, Google. Okay, Google. 457 divided by 2. 228. Okay, shut up. 228. So I need the whole center. Okay, I just realized this doesn't need to have that high of a one. Let's just set it to like 5 because we want that to have really good surface area on the table. So it sits as flat as possible. And the more we remove it, the when it wobbles, it's not gonna have legs to wobble on. So it's gonna experience like a lot of wobble, I would think. But this back one, it doesn't matter as much, so we could like crank that shit, soldier boy. Crank that shit, soldier boy 24. Like we could basically do this one where it's a little closer. Mm. This curve might be a little too much. Well, this is a seam. Like, let's say this is the middle. There's being a little bit of gap right there. Yeah, you see that shadow? We don't want to see shadow right here. Because there's a gap right there. And that gap is going to cause us to have some instability. before we do the next one, oh, actually, before we do that, let's move the poll all the way over so we can compare when that gap exists. Those threads are in line. Okay, those threads are in line. So we need this curve on both sides. Let's start small. 10, 11. Okay. I think 10 is the max we could go, but I would say let's do 9. So there's a good clearance. Because we need to make sure we have some good clearance when we do something like that. And then the rest of it, I guess we could do 9, 3, 4, 2, 1, 2. You know what I didn't do? I didn't extend this out. I'm thinking we could just make them hollow tubes, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could just make up hollow tubes. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good change. Making those hollow, good change. That probably cut down. Okay, let's see. Let's save. And then let's export as a STO. Okay. Okay, let's say we don't have supports on, because there should be nothing in this. This is 452 grams. So all of this put together, if you were to build it all out just now, it's about half a spool worth of filament. Well, let's look at my settings. Strength. We have a lot of walls. We could cut the walls down. My density is 20. And then my sparse anchor length. I don't know what's like good for that. Okay. So let's cut walls down because that's a huge waste of time. We don't need a huge amount of walls for this. 339 grams of filament, which is about a third of a spool. It said that there's floating point issues, so what we're going to do is we're going to take it, go to back to where we're going to take it, we're going to split to objects, so everything should now be its own part. And we can move it independently of each other. So I want to see how much one pipe is currently. So one pipe is 118. Why? Let's see. Is that sparse fill density? I think that you could probably cut the amount of filament we're using, which is about 20%. You can, on just the pipes, cut that down to about 15%, I would say. Like, let's see. So this pipe, we want to cut the strength down to, let's say, 15%. The next pipe, 15%. And let's turn everything off but that. So I don't know what amount I said, but we'll go off of it. It says we have some floating points. I don't believe it. So we're going to ignore it. 108. from what did I give it previously? Let's put it to 20. So 108 compared to 118. So about 10 grams. It's not too bad. Okay, let's say no open anchors. What does that mean? Let's look. 118. That changed absolutely nothing. I saw somewhere where someone's like, oh, sparse infill density, you only need 5%. I think once you start hitting 5%, right, you get a huge amount of gap. Like if you look at this, huge amount of gap. Which I don't think it would be necessarily bad, but you also don't want this to crumple if you accidentally squeeze it too hard. And I think that's what you're going to start getting with this. So I may do a test. What I may do is make a donut and then do like 1% infill, 2% infill, 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, and see when that donut breaks. Because this is just a long donut with some spool, basically. And I think for printing these, because it's saying what on this, like if we, let's just like move it a half a centimeter. It says, oh, we're not getting an error anymore on that. Okay, let's see. It was saying 5. That was giving it an error. What on here was giving it an error for? Prepare. Where would it put supports on that? It's probably gonna be all throughout that pipe. Yeah. It's not the best. I'm pretty sure you can print these pipes like that without, because it's just an overhang. I don't think there's a big overhang. Yeah, I think when I'll make a donut and see how it's affected by printing, but we're not gonna worry about printing tests right now. We're worried about filament count. So let's go to strengths, and let's just say universally we get it on to 15. Okay. So we're down to 313. Cool. Okay, let's get rid of the pipes. And let's say these pieces. Do any of these pieces... Okay, it's saying this hole right here is no issue. Like, I could print that, no issue. But it's saying the pipe, I have issue. Okay. Okay. STL9. Oh. Yeah. Oh, the other one just spawned in it. This is a 6-hour without the pipe. And with the pipes, it's... The fucking pipes themselves add 9 hours. So what I would say is print these by themselves and then print the pipes by themselves. Because what I'm thinking is a lot of people are going to print one by themselves. If you can get this down to like... The inside is as hollowed as I'm comfortable in making it, where it's like slightly more hollowed than that. Because printing these, I don't think you're ever going to break those once you print them. I think if something is going to fail, it's going to be either these or that. Which that what's the filament for the clamp? I think I'm gonna guess 80. 50. This is 50, right? So mind you, this, which is the huge part of it, is half of the pipe based off of the length of the pipe that we're making. I think if I were to cut this pipe down, what I would do, I'll think about it. The way that I would cut this pipe down is I think the inside, the walls themselves could probably be 3 millimeters thick, right? All the way through. It could be 3 millimeters thick. Or let's say 7 millimeters. Like, yeah, let's say 7 millimeters. If we're okay, let's undo. Did I put a hole in it yet? No. Okay. Uh, how wide's the pipe? I didn't measure. How wide's the L? 4182. So I think I made it that wide. Okay. So it's diameter. Seven? Be doing that, cut the filament by I cut the filament by 7 grams. Hannah. Yep, 1 gram. So right now, the interior wall, how thick it is 3 millimeters around. Which, if you don't know how thick 3 millimeters is, it's not that thick. So we are really thinning out the inside of that pipe. And if this doesn't remove a good chunk of the filament, I'm just reverting to it to just being kind of bored out, and that's it. It removed 7 grams of filament. Okay. I will be rating. Out. I just realized you guys might have been staring at a black screen for a good minute.